E-based usually comes to me because I have quite a flavour of learning and educational based ones, which might be an electronic situation. Okay, so as a supervisor, they filter those through to me because other supervisors wouldn't be as happy in those areas. So our accountancy ones will go to the accountant, that type of stuff. Okay. And also, if you're not sure, don't be scared. I mean, I would suggest, if I'm not sure on an area, an issue, I would go and ask a colleague. If a student came to me with a project which was moving into an area, and I wasn't sure, I'd go and ask a colleague. The redrafting of reading draft chapters, and we'd expect that staff will mark draft chapters and give feedback. I think as you as a tutor, it's whether you are accepting an email or whether you prefer a printed out hard copy. And because your students are full-time, because they're here, I think you've got that option that you can take that. And providing these feedbacks, so they know what to do. Staff will not, and this is for the student handbook, do the student's work. And as I said, we have quite a lot of students that expect us to almost do their work. Correct grammar, expressions, and English errors. I think if you naturally are finding those errors, if it's me, I would correct one of them, or maybe two of them, and then I would have something in the text to say to the student. My feedback was to say, I've done one of these, you can do the rest. So if there's a reference in, error, for example, where let's say the student miss out the date, I would say, I would correct one or maybe two of them, and then I'd have in the margin, I've corrected the first one or two for you, you can do the rest. I'm not going to do all of them, they're not at master's level. And the same for English, if they're missing a capital letter or punctuation. And pre-mark the work as well. Now this is a very hard one that we don't pre-mark the work, because your student will come to you, I imagine, and say, is it good? Am I going to get distinction? Am I going to get that? It depends upon your style and it depends upon the student. If the student comes to you, and sometimes you might ask, sometimes I ask and say, some students just want to know if it's a pass. They're just desperate to know, is this okay? And for me, I like to know what do they mean by okay. Because some students, if you give them a 65%, they will be devastated because they want to get 70 or 80%. And other students would be over the moon with 65%. It would be, it would be Diwali, it would be Christmas, it would be all rolled into one. Because there would just be, so I would want to know personally. I usually ask the student, what are you looking for here? And then I can guide them, because as a supervisor, I think if they aren't aiming for a particular grade, how will I know whether to push them on more or not? And usually if I do push them on, I will say, these are my, I'm giving you these suggestions here in a tutorial, and I'll be saying, these are for higher grades. And then it's up to the student if they want to make those decisions or not. Or it could be the other way around. I might be saying, if you want to pass, you need to make these changes. Okay, so they've got some gravity. It doesn't mean I'm marking it, it doesn't mean I'm giving them a grade, it just means I'm giving them more of a critical and directed feedback. This is a supervision log that we have at Staffordshire. This is a blank one, I've got some printed out, I've got some completed ones. Because this is on the survey, you can print it out now. You can choose how you want. It's self-explanatory and it's pretty clear. It's got a name, the student's ID, and date, topic, comments, and signature of the student and the supervisor. This is one that's been completed here. I've just tried to anonymise it. But we can see here over a period of, I think this is a month or so, there's 4 or 5 on here, and there's a second page that carried on as well, because they had more than one supervisor, or they had more than one sheet, I think. Okay. So there's a tracking log. I think, and I've done a task, and I know we're running short tonight, so I don't want to or not, but I think again for you as a faculty is whether this is sufficient for you or whether this is insufficient for you. It might be as a log, you're happy with this. For my MA students, the practice which I'm trying to, because I've not mastered this yet myself, but the practice I'm trying to extend with the students